Hello and welcome to our pocket dimension of the internet. My name is Callie and you stumbled across 1shots, the drinking TTRPG. In our last video, we went over the basics of how to play the core rules, and in this video, we're going to expand upon that with the house rules, intended for more pun and more fun. Hit it! Before we dive right into house rules, in case you didn't watch the last video, the core concept of 1shots is that taking shots improves your character's chances of success. If you need more than just the context clues provided in these house rules, then go and check out that video. Without further ado, rule number 0, don't spill. If a regular spills during the game, something bad immediately happens to their character. But if the house spills during the game, something good immediately happens to the crew. Suggested house rule number 2. Shocktail. Instead of a straight shot of liquor or liqueur, mix up a cocktail and distribute it between the 7 shot glasses. House rule number 2. Taking a hit. Instead of taking a shot, a regular can take a hit. They get that extra garnish. However, if their cards alone go over 21 now, it counts as a critical failure for that challenge. I say that because if any stat bonuses or dice that they roll has pushed them over 21, it's still okay. But if their cards alone go over 21, critical failure. Suggested house rule number 3, group check. Now this house rule makes a little bit more sense if you know that in typical TTRPGs, what we call challenges are called checks. And in a group check, it's going to be every single player playing against one hand of the house in the challenge. You're just going by, do more people succeed than fail? If more regulars win than lose, 2 parts success for the whole crew. If more regulars lose than win, 2 parts failure for the whole crew. If just as many regulars win as lose, 1 part failure and 1 part success for the whole crew. Now, when might you want to do something like this? So say the crew is careening down rapids on a raft, and everyone is trying to play a different part in keeping the raft afloat. Well, it would be pretty tedious to just do 1 check here, 1 check there, 1 challenge here, 1 challenge there. So instead, just do it all at once and then tally up all the different successes or not. When you're doing a group check, the house determines whether any dice roll apply to just the person who rolled it or the entire group. Suggested house rule number 4, split the check. Split the check is similar to a group check, but it differs in that it's going to be not necessarily everyone. Split the check is for moments whenever 2 different characters are trying to do something at the exact same time, often the exact same thing. When you split the check, they're going to play against one hand from the house, but they're going to resolve them completely separately. So in a split the check, for sure any dice that they roll only applies to their individual character. Sometimes when you split the check, one character's success can compensate for the other character's failure, such as if you're trying to move a boulder out of the way of an entrance to a cave. If one character fails and one character succeeds, you've succeeded. Suggested rule number 5, ice back. Now this one is a little bit of a jump for the play on. The play on words is a little bit more complex. Ice is sometimes referred to as rocks. Ice back, rocks back. The house is going to get the dice back, and dice are also sometimes referred to as rocks. Instead of discarding dice after a challenge, each die gets added to the house's stash of garnish. On any future check, the house may choose to roll the die and add it to their hand as though it was a garnish. However, if the die causes the house to exceed 21, it is not automatically a critical success. If the die causes the house to reach exactly 21, it is, however, still a critical failure. So ice back is a rule that only benefits the house, and there's no backside. Backside, no drawback. Suggested house rule number 6, large rock. Instead of being dealt cards, the regulars replace their hands with a single roll of a d20, where a nat 1 equals an automatic critical failure and a nat 20 equals an automatic critical success. If a deck of cards is entirely unavailable, the house can use 2 d10s and keep 1 hidden whenever they roll. In that way, it keeps that, oh, should I take a shot, should I not take a shot element of the game that we want to include. If the house is still using cards, their system for critical successes and critical failures remain in place, but if they're using the dice, 2 d10s, then only the regular's d20 will determine critical success and critical failure. Suggested house rule number 7, limited supply. In this one, the house just gets a limited amount of garnishes that they can use. So they have to pick and choose the moments where they want to attempt to increase the difficulty of a challenge. Once the house is out of garnishes, they're just out of ways that they can improve their hand. So it's just up to the heart of the cards. Suggested house rule number 8, face off. A face-off is any challenge that includes a combat element, and we encourage you to make your own house rules on how that might affect your character. For instance, you might say, if your character fails 3 face-offs, or fails 2 face-offs and at least one of them is a critical fail, then your character is wounded or hurt or injured, and they sort of take a back seat in the narrative until the next scene where they can recuperate. That's an example of a face-off. Suggested house rule number 9. 1 shot, 1 kill. This house rule is pretty simple. Taking a shot automatically means success. No critical successes, no critical failures, no this, no that, no whatever. The 1 shot, 1 kill house rule allows you to play a diceless game of 1-shots. We're taking a shot, just success, easy peasy. Suggested house rule number 10. Pay it forward. This rule only works if you're going to play an anthology where you know you're going to be playing this game again. Whenever you settle up, if that involves replacing a bottle cap with another bottle cap, take the bottle cap that you replace, so if it was this one, you'd have a 1 on it, and then on the back of it, write a skill that you used during this adventure. Then in any future games, you can always look through all the different skills your crew has accumulated, and you can get extra bonuses if one of the skills applies. For example, with a brawn skill, we might say we become particularly good at kicking down doors. And then later on, when we need to kick down a door, we have an improved brawn, probably of 2 or higher, and then we have +1 for specifically kicking down doors. That's how Pay It Forward works. Suggested house rule 11. Now, I've kind of done myself dirty with this one because I have put into a play on words pun a word that I've never heard pronounced out loud. I've only ever seen it. So it's a type of card game that uses only higher level cards called P-I-N-O-C-L-E. So it might be Pinochle, Pinnacle, Pinacle, Pinocle. I don't know. But it's that martini. That's this house rule. So for a higher intensity game, play with a
Pinnacle
deck instead of a standard deck of cards. That way everything's going to be bop, 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 bop. Higher intensity. More chances for the house to get 21. Suggested house rule number 12. Bring the heat. Take a shot of hot sauce or spicy food instead of a shot of alcohol, or in addition to a shot of alcohol, or take a spicy shot of alcohol. Suggested house rule number 13. I can't believe you just drank that. Take a shot of something gross, sour, or otherwise unappealing instead of taking a shot, or in addition to taking a shot. Suggested house rule number 14. BYOG. Bring your own garnish. At the beginning of the game, each regular is dealt a face-down card. Instead of taking a shot during any challenge once per game, they can instead choose to add their garnish to their hand. Now, if their hand from cards alone exceeds 21 in this manner, then that challenge will result in a critical failure for their character. Suggested house rule number 15. BYOB. Bring your own bottle. So I'm going to explain it to you and see if you can figure out why I named it that. At the beginning of the game, every regular is dealt a face-up card from the deck. For the rest of the game, whenever their crew member is involved in a challenge, they are only dealt the face-down card. They are stuck with the same face-up card for the rest of the game. That's going to be really good if you got an ace. It's going to be really bad if you got a 2. Either way, it's going to add more chaos. Suggested house rule number 16, only hits. This is another version of the game that is played without dice. Instead of dice, on top of the dice dots, at the beginning of the game, deal out 1 card. Whenever a regular would normally take a shot to improve their hand, they instead add the garnish to their hand. If you're playing only hits, the card that you get counts as a die. With only hits, regulars still don't have to worry about going over 21. Suggested house rule, a number 17, on the house. If the house can reveal 7 cards without going over 21, treat the challenge as though the house had gotten exactly 21. Suggested house rule number 18, happy hour. Don't leave the house out if the house isn't playing a regular. Every time that the house wants to add a garnish, they have to take a drink. Suggested house rule number 19, calling all the shots. This requires 7 shots for every player, so make sure that every player involved is okay with taking 7 shots over the course of the game. Remember, stay safe, have fun, heck yeah. That stay safe is very important to us. So, in calling all the shots, in order to unlock a die, every single player has to take a shot. Bingo bango. See you in the morning. Suggested house rule number 20. When it rains, it pours. Whenever a regular chooses to take their challenge on the rocks, which is the new lingo that I forgot to include in the last video of what it means whenever you want to add an unlocked die to your hand. Whenever a regular chooses to take their challenge on the rocks by rolling any amount of unlocked dice, they can choose to roll any die that has previously been unlocked. Don't discard the previous dice after you resolve the challenge. Suggested house rule number 21, another round. This is mostly recommended for larger groups or for low alcohol content games. Instead of settling up, whenever they have no dice, the group can choose to restock all of the dice and all of the shots. The dice become locked again, and you must unlock them by taking another shot. I really only recommend this for groups that are pretty big, and if you've noticed that you've taken all of the shots and or used all of the dice for halfway, or if you're still 2 hours away from needing to drive anywhere. And that's all the suggested house rules that I have for right now. I'm excited to see what other house rules the community comes up with as we all continue to play this game. As always, for more and better future content, consider subscribing, liking, or subscribing to a tier of our Patreon, which gives us money which we put back into the budget for making videos like this. And always remember, the most powerful magic of all is the magic of changing all the rules of a game that you don't like and turning them into rules that you do like. As always, stay safe, have fun, heck yeah. Until next time.